Welcome to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette, with your host Steve Garrett, MC and DJ at one of the largest Corvette weekends in the country, Corvette Fun Fest, president of the Corvette Club of Kansas City, Missouri, and radio disc jockey at the #1 radio station in Kansas City for over 40 years. Here's Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, and the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. I appreciate you tuning in. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-639-4231. You can listen to Corvette Today on all podcast platforms. You can also listen on your smart device. Just say, "Hey Google" or "Alexa, play the podcast called Corvette Today," and you're connected. Be sure and visit the updated Corvette Today website. It's corvettetoday.com. You can also access everything there, including the Corvette Today merchandise store. You can also join the Corvette Today Facebook group there and sign up for Corvette Today emails, notifications, and updates at corvettetoday.ck.page. And if you like YouTube, you can subscribe to the Corvette Today YouTube channel. See all Corvette Today episodes on YouTube. And be sure and patronize our flagship sponsors of Corvette Today, Aerolarri Wheels, a true forged wheel with over 20 different unique styles to choose from for your C8 and wide-body versions of the C7, C6, and C5 Corvettes. It's an amazing value, starting at only $23.88 for a set of 4 fully forged wheels. And use the promo code CT111 and get $100 off your purchase. Visit aerolarri.com, that's AEROLARRI.com, and use the promo code CT111 for your $100 discount. And Soul Performance Products. Developed and manufactured in the United States, the Soul Performance Products exhaust portfolio has been tailored to elevate the experience of the world's most exciting sports cars, including the latest generation of the Corvette. Soul Performance Products, the official exhaust of Corvette Today. Also, MidEngineCorvetteForum.com, the forum that focuses on the new mid-engine C8 Corvette. Meet a lot of Corvette enthusiasts like yourself at MidEngineCorvetteForum.com. And a shout out to Corvette Forum and CanadianCorvetteForum.com, welcoming Corvette enthusiasts from around the world. It's time for the latest Corvette news and headlines with my pal Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. Keith is here twice per month, about every other week. We always keep you up to date and current on what's happening with America's sports car. Keith, welcome back to the show. Keith and I are fresh back from the Michelin NCM Bash.
That's right. We had a great weekend, man. We started off on Wednesday. We did a plant tour. We saw the Corvette team. All the stuff that's new came out on Friday with the Corvette team's presentation at the Bash. It was a good event. We're glad to see all the friends and people there. And there are so many Corvettes out there. Boy, it was Corvette heaven.
It was. It gave me a chance to geek out Corvette-wise, Keith.
Before we get into this, Steve was the king of the cold starts this weekend. I saw him going out to the parking lot 6 or 7 times a day with somebody else in tow saying, "Hey, you got to hear this exhaust." So he's got that Soul exhaust on his 70th anniversary car, and it does sound good.
It really does. Soul Performance Products, SOULPP.com. It's a great exhaust. Well, buddy, let's kick things off like we usually do with production updates on the Corvette from the Bowling Green assembly plant.
Yeah, let's go. So I'm going to talk about production and specifically the Z06 first, because the plant has really upped the output in the last few weeks. Production over the last 2 weeks, 252 cars 2 weeks ago, 280 cars last week. That's more than 500 cars. Steve and I did that plant tour on Wednesday, and as we're watching the assembly line, it was like nearly every third or fourth car on the line was a Z06.
Yes.
Last week, the team did surpass 2,000 combined Z06s, and our last count shows approximately 2,250 units built. And that breaks down to about 1,900 regular Z06s and about almost 350 70th anniversary models. They're really starting to crank there. Regarding Stingray production, we are looking at 31,186 regular Stingrays already built. And then we also have 3,300 anniversary editions for about 34,500 total Stingrays. Compared to last year, Stingray production is currently trending 119% above the levels from last year. So they're really moving. But wait, Steve, it does get better, because the Corvette team, when they do their seminar at the NCM Bash, they always show a slide. We only count what's been built. They actually can show what's been built plus what they have in the system that's been approved for production. They are actually showing, as of March 23, 40,562 total C8s, and that breaks down to about 94% being Stingrays and 6% being Z06s. The last time we hit more than 40,000 cars was 2016. And so with all the supply chain issues and other factors in play, it doesn't seem like we're building a lot of cars, but I would say the production team is just doing a fantastic job of cranking them out. So yeah, we are really moving there. Just real quick, the other Z06 news that we had is that there was another round of allocations to dealers in April. According to some of the dealers that we spoke with, they were very pleased with the accounts that they received. And we actually heard dealers getting Z07s as well. And that was the other thing too, is the Bash. We saw more Z07s than I've ever seen in one place before. They are really moving. I'm proud to say that.
Yeah, that was really, really great news. Now, to me, the bad news from Bowling Green Assembly Plant, Keith, Bowling Green Assembly Director Kai Spandy announced his retirement during the Bash.
Yeah, boy, that came out of left field. No one expected that. He's just doing his presentation, going through what happens at the body shop in the plant. And then at the end, he showed a slide with all these pictures on it. He said, well, I got some news to share, and that he took that buyout that was offered earlier this month.
Right.
So July 31st will be his last day. And I got to tell you, Kai was a rock star during his tenure. He was with us for 8 years. And if you think about all the stuff that's happened, we had the major expansion of the plant. We built the paint shop. Then they retooled the plant and reconfigured it for the C8 Corvette. And then there was COVID and supply chain issues. And if that's not enough, remember when that tornado hit the Corvette plant, causing a fire on the roof?
Oh, yeah.
His steady hand's going to be missed for sure. GM has named his replacement. His name is Raymond Therault. I believe that's how you spell his last name, Therault. Raymond has served as assistant plant director at Spring Hill's engine plant. And he's also served as quality manager and quality operations director at different posts around the world. He's been to China. He's been to a couple other international facilities. Currently, he's a senior manager EV supplier integration, which again kind of gives you a foreshadow of where we are headed with electric vehicles in the Corvette. He's got some big shoes to fill, but we are anxious to meet him, and we do welcome him to the Corvette assembly plant.
Absolutely. I guess it's onward and upward. We're sorry to see Kai go, but congratulations on his retirement.
Yeah, he's going to have fun. And his wife took the buyout as well. They've got family in Bowling Green. I think some kids still in school. He's going to be sticking around. And of course, he's still the chairman of the board for the NCM. That term goes to the end of the year. And then the current chairman always serves as the past chairman once the new person comes in. So he's not going anywhere. We're still going to see him at events, but he's only going to be a civilian this time, not part of the team.
Right. Also, in other news, Keith, Barrett Jackson sold the first E-Ray VIN #1 to Rick Hendrick for $1.1 million.
Yeah, like they always do. They introduce the new car and then they offer the opportunity to get VIN 1 through a charity auction at Barrett Jackson. This one was at Palm Beach. And like you said, not surprising anyone, is that Corvette dealer and NASCAR team owner Rick Hendrick bid $1.1 million for the rights to build the car any way he wants. Who wants to bet it's going to be black?
Yeah, exactly.
Another bidder actually then donated $50,000 on top of it. So the total get for the car was $1.15 million.
Nice.
And this was a charity auction with the proceeds going to a organization called Donors Choose. Taj talked about this a little bit in his seminar. They actually make micro donations directly to teachers and classrooms across America. It's like writing a mini grant. You send it off to these people, and their average donation is only around $300. With the fact that they pulled in $1.15 million, this charity auction should keep them busy for quite some time.
Yes, absolutely right. And that was a really good thing, for sure. This is going to create a lot of controversy, Keith. GM is going to be phasing out Apple CarPlay and Android Auto for a subscription-based system. Do we know when that's going to start?
I'm cringing, Steve.
I know.
We understand that this is really targeting the EVs and future EVs. We're not sure when this is going to happen, this changeover. But it's one of the stories that we wrote about last year, is that GM thinks they could make like $26 billion in additional revenue simply through subscriptions from new car customers. I want to slam my hands on the desk and say it's wrong. You buy a car, you own the whole car,
right?
Not the ability to unlock it for even more money. Like I said, it seems primarily targeted to EV buyers, as if we need another reason to oppose EVs.
Right.
GM VP of software, he said, here's how you can kind of think about it. When an owner of a Chevy Blazer EV routes to an EV charging station, the vehicle's native software can begin warming up the battery so it's primed for a faster charge. That's what they're calling like a holistic integration that's currently unavailable through CarPlay and Android Auto. I think about BMW. I think they were charging like $200 a year to have a heated steering wheel or seats and stuff like that. Nobody wants subscriptions. I'm telling you that right now. And this is going to blow up in their face again, but we're kind of at their mercy until people say no to it. I don't know what else to do when you're saying there's $26 billion on the line.
Absolutely right. Now, a couple stories about the E-Ray. We did see some updates on the visualizer online, didn't we?
Yeah, I've been building these religiously, generally on a Saturday night with my favorite adult beverage, a good Kentucky bourbon. So I was on like a late Saturday night. I like the color match. I'm looking at the E-Ray, the color match, like the blue E-Ray badge, maybe blue seat belts, playing around with the blue Corvette letters on the back. So when I went there, those Elkhart Lake blue Corvette letters were gone. And instead, they added edge red letters. So now we have edge red, torch red, Arctic white, and then, of course, the chrome and the black. Not a big change, but again, it just shows they are currently adding. And I did ask if we're going to see Corvette letters maybe in the new Riptide Blue, in which case I was just told to stay tuned. We'll see about that. But, the other changes we saw in the visualizer include the welcome return of the engine appearance package for the coupe.
Right.
And then Chevy has also added that visible carbon fiber engine bow, that X brace with the Jake logo in the center. You can play with that now on your visualizer builds as well.
I saw that X brace and it's in carbon fiber. Got me thinking, buddy. It got me thinking.
I hear you. It's an easy install.
Absolutely right. I'm just thinking about it. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I think it's going to happen, Steve. That's my gut.
You know me in carbon fiber, buddy. Also, what else did we learn about the E-Ray for 2024 at the Bash?
First of all, the E-Ray is just such a great car. There was more news in addition to the E-Ray, so let's kind of jump into that first because it's the NCM Bash is where we always learn about new content coming for the Corvette. Of course, the E-Ray being the big news, so, obviously introducing a new model is the big news, but they also have other new content out there for the Corvette team. The team said one of the biggest things that they did was they introduced a new engine appearance package for convertibles.
Right.
Chevrolet has been seeing all these convertible hardtop owners wanting to see their engines when they lift their tonneau covers. They were constantly asked about this feature. So once again, they've delivered a factory available option for customers. So if you think about when you raise your tonneau cover, you got that black regular heat shield in there. Mm-hmm. They've actually cut a window so you can see the top of the engine. I don't know the measurements exactly, but it's roughly 14 inches or so square. They said it was actually the largest size that they could fit in there. It's been fully validated to their standards. It's got silver heat shielding on the bottom of it to keep the heat from rising up. So when you do have your convertible top down, it's being well protected.
Right.
We don't have any pricing on this yet, but it's called the ZZ3 engine appearance package for convertibles. And when you order that, you'll get the see-through panel, and then you'll also get your choice of the silver or edge red engine covers. That's the very first one. I think that one's going to go a long way. People are going to like that. They're going to like the fact that it comes from the factory. It's fully validated and all that stuff. There is an aftermarket solution out there that's a polycarbonate. That shows off the whole engine bay. I mean, that one really opens up. People will have some choices out there now. They can go aftermarket or they can go with the factory option.
I like them both. I wish they would just cut a hole in the hatch so you could see from the hatch all the way through the window into the engine bay on the hardtop convertible.
It wouldn't be surprising, as they come out with the higher performance models that we might see some additional changes that would include that. I'd say stay tuned for that because if you're going to offer a $200,000 sports car at some point, you're going to have everything that people want in it, I'm hoping.
I hope so too.
So we also have, in addition to the engine appearance package, Chevy announced 3 new wheels for the C8 Stingray. So we have 2 designs that are basically, it's a split spoke wheel. One of them's offered in satin graphite with a machine edge. And then there's also a bright machine that looks like a polished wheel. That's a new design there. And then they also came out with a new accessory wheel. It's a 15-spoke, bright polished accessory wheel. The nice thing is with sales being roughly 94% Stingray, it's good to see that they're constantly putting out new content for Stingray owners there. Another change we have for 2024 are the racing stripes. We kind of touched on this earlier this year because, again, we've been seeing these new additions to the E-Ray visualizer. And a lot of times they include content that's going to be available across the model lineup for the C8 in 2024. One of the first things that they've done for these racing stripes is they're changing the design. The new design is really a copy of the E-Ray's blue racing stripe, which is tapered at the front of the car, and then it ends on the rear deck. So you can see that as a template. They're very nice. The current ones, they start at the corners or the edge of the front fascia, and they go all the way back over the spoiler and then down underneath the license plate to the top of the rear fascia. So it's a much cleaner design. I think it looks better, especially if you do put those letters on the back. They look really nice. And then another stripe design that we touched on was they have these carbon flash stripes that have these colored accents on the outside. And those accent colors are blue, yellow, orange, red, and silver. So yeah, you can really color code your car. You match the seatbelts. If you're doing an orange car, you can do orange seatbelts. Another update is, obviously, we've talked about this again, the new standard safety features coming on the car.
Right.
They include automatic emergency braking, forward collision alert, front pedestrian braking, follow distance indicators. And I did not know this was coming, but they had it on the slide. It's this IntelliBeam, the auto high beam assist. So basically, if you're in a rural area or you're driving at night, there's not a lot of traffic, your high beams will go on automatically. And then when it senses a car coming at you, it lowers them to the regular. That's really handy. I had a rent-a-car that did that. I was kind of like blown away by it. I'm like, this is a great feature, So Corvette's going to get that as well. And then the last change for 2024 is that when you put your Corvette in different driver mode selections, you have those animations that come up on the screen there. Mm-hmm. They've got some new ones for that. I guess they're a little bit better of quality. They're newer. They do this animation thing. So a new look for the driver mode selections there.
That was really neat. Of course, you were talking about the high beams thing. I had that back in my 1960 white Cadillac, buddy. It was called an electronic eye, and it sat in the middle of the dash, and it sensed cars coming and going, and you can automatically turn on those high beams, the electronic eye from my 1960 Cadillac. And that was back in 1975. It was my grandparents' car.
Right. So what you're saying is it took us 60 years to get it, but hey, we're glad to have it.
Just like fashion, technology comes around, buddy.
Well, there was that discussion about the automatic start-stop feature. They talked about that earlier, who wants it. They do the whole who wants it, everybody raises their hands, and no one raises their hands for automatic stop-start.
Right.
We're getting it anyway, but it's only on the E-Ray that we're getting that, by the way. The auto stop-start's not going to be rolled out to the entire lineup, at least yet.
Yeah.
It's just a result of the fuel economy ratings that they've got to get to. Every little bit helps, I guess.
It does.
Those are really the content changes for the 2024 Corvette.
That's true. And by the way, if you don't want to use the stop-start, there is a button to turn that function off, so don't worry about it.
And a lot of the other stuff you can turn off too, I believe, from the menu selectors.
Right. Well, buddy, let's take our first break. When we come back, it's Corvette racing and Corvette rumors. That's coming up next on Corvette Today.
We all know that wheels make the car. Wheelcraft will help you take your Corvette to new levels. Wheelcraft offers the world's best PVD chrome finish available on the market. Available in bright chrome and black chrome. Wheelcraft nails it in both appearance and durability, and it comes with a 5-year warranty against brake dust burns, pitting, peeling, and color delamination. Wheelcraft is also ISO certified. Whether you're having your wheels refinished or an exchange transaction, there is no core fee, no deposit, and you don't pay for the finished wheels until they are installed on your car. Wheelcraft insists on complete satisfaction before you pay. Hear from one of our customers.
I picked up a brochure at the National Corvette Museum and we took delivery of our new C8. I called Wheelcraft, and in 15 minutes, I ordered the new bright ice chrome wheels. Wheelcraft's follow-up and follow-through is superb. The wheels arrived on Sunday, installed on Monday, and cores were returned same day. The wheels are the highest quality I've ever seen, and they look awesome. Great prices, great customer service from initial contact to installation.
Thanks, Dennis from Nashville. In many cases, Wheelcraft offers finished wheels on exchange or will apply this new finish to your wheels. Either way, Wheelcraft treats your wheels as their own. Visit our website at wheelcraft.com or call us at 833-840-5334. Arrive in style with Wheelcraft.
The Radiator Grill Store offers C8 Corvette A-Pillar wind diffusers in beautiful carbon fiber or OEM gloss black that help reduce wind buffeting when a window is open. Easy installation and OEM fitment. Plus, get 10% off your total purchase with the promo code CT10 at radiatorgrillstore.com.
When you want to buy a Corvette, or any Chevrolet for that matter, get yours from Hendrick Chevrolet Shawnee Mission, located in Kansas City. Hendrick Chevrolet is the largest Corvette dealership and showroom in the Midwest. With a knowledgeable sales staff and Corvette sales specialists on hand, they'll help you build the Corvette of your dreams, and they ship nationwide. With Corvette certified master mechanics on site and a huge parts department with over 24,000 parts and $2 million in inventory, Hendrick Chevrolet is well equipped to take care of your every need. From sales to service to collision repair, Hendrick Chevrolet has you covered. Visit ChevyUSA.com or call 913-384-1550.
And now, back to Corvette Today with your host and my husband, Steve Garrett.
Thanks once again for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Wheelcraft. Spring is here, and you want your Corvette looking its best. Dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com or call them at 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. We keep you current and up to date on everything Corvette. In segment number 2, we always talk Corvette racing and Corvette rumors. First, let's start with racing, Keith. Let's talk about the results at Spa, and the IMSA team finished number 2 at Long Beach, didn't they?
Yeah, the teams are actually doing quite well, especially the WEC team, the World Endurance Championship. They had victories at Sebring and Portimao in Portugal, and the team then went to the 6 hours of Spa, and although they did not win, the next best result to a victory is finishing second. That was a great news. So not only did they finish second, but there was a BOP update. So in the WEC, the winning team from the previous race had an additional 45 kilograms of what they call victory ballast added to the car. It's something that's really different than we see in IMSA. They were down into 12th place or so. There's like 14 cars in this class over there. It's not just they're racing themselves or 3 other cars. There's 14 in the class. They came back from 12th place. Nicky Katzberg, I guess, just drove the pants off that car. He had a guy behind him. He was able to keep him behind him, even though he was faster. The Corvette had that victory ballast on it. And by even coming in second, we increased our championship lead from 31 points to 39 points. We currently have 82 points compared to the second place team, the number 83 Ferrari, which only has 43. So we're in good position right now. And again, the next race is coming up at Le Mans. The team's just doing fantastic over there. And I wish we could have seen it. They were racing on Saturday when we were at the Bash. And I told one of the museum people, I said, you should have really thrown that up on the screen somewhere, maybe offered a watch party. That would have been fun for people to come and go and see a race going on in the theater while it's happening in real time. Maybe next year, if there's a conflict like that, we can see that again. As we talk about the IMSA team, earlier this month, Jordan Taylor and Antonio Garcia, they finished second at Long Beach. That really helped with the points, too, because I think we were finishing like 5th with both Daytona and Sebring. That gets us some much-needed points there. We're behind. We're actually running in 3rd in class right now in the championship points behind Lexus and the AMG Mercedes. We'll see Corvette Racing's IMSA team back in action on May 12th through the 14th at the WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. So that's always a good course for us. That's a fun racetrack to watch. Let's go, Jake. We're expecting some good results there. We'll keep it going.
That's right. And this is a racing story, even though it's not Corvette racing. We talked about Will Farmer in our last news and headline show. He broke the 9s with his 2023 Z06, and Amelia's right behind him. So it looks like the Z06 drag wars are starting, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. The good news is we are seeing competition heating up for that world record. And the funny thing is the Corvette team's like, the car was never really designed to be a drag car. It's a track weapon, know? It's a scalpel for the track, but yet all these people are going out and doing the quarter-mile times with it. As you said, Will Farmer became the first driver to hit the 9s with a quarter-mile time of 9.986 seconds at 135 miles an hour. His mods on that car were drag radials on the back. He put skinny tires up on the front. That track that he was on was highly prepped. I mean, it was so sticky, you could just hear it grip in the tires as he was backing up after staging the car. So he ran 9.986. And then, not to be outdone, Amelia Hartford is back with her Z06. She might name the car Nemo because it's orange and white. That's kind of a name she's floating out there. So she put a nitrous kit on her car and then drag radials, and then she took out the passenger seat. They lightweighted it as where they could. And then she ran a 9.988 seconds at 140. So she's actually got the fastest trap time, but she missed Will Farmer's record by 2/100ths of a second. So that's how close we are right now. You can bet that we're going to see some improvements, hopefully from both drivers, because this is where it gets fun, and we don't know who else is going to get into the mix there, but there'll be somebody out there saying, oh yeah, we'll watch what we can do. The drag wars for the Z06 are on, and they are fun.
It's going to be on like Donkey Kong, right?
Right.
Also, we saw Jordan Taylor looking for another NASCAR seat. Is he getting away from Corvette racing?
Well, there's truth in comedy, as they say. He did this video. It's a bit for Dale Jr.'s podcast in which he was inquiring about another NASCAR opportunity and then cuts over and there's Rodney Sandstorm in the background saying he wants to run an oval. But that was a comedy bit. However, the Corvette racing driver did share a photo on social media showing him climbing into another NASCAR racer and doing another test. So there could be more to this story than him just out there having some fun with it.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to keep watching that and see what happens there.
Right.
In the rumors section, Keith, there's a partnership with GM and Samsung. They're building a $3 billion battery plant that may power an electric Corvette and Camaro.
Yeah, this is interesting. You know, they've done 3 battery plants already with LG. They're now switching and doing one with Samsung. They're a different style of batteries. We asked one of the team members about this at the Bash, and they said, you know, for the most part, this is just kind of PR. You know, they don't exist yet. It's just on paper. Mm-hmm. But this is a battery that is more like the Tesla cells, which kind of look like the AA batteries that are all grouped together.
Okay.
As opposed to the larger pouch batteries that GM has been using with LG, like in the Bolt. And the reason the Corvette and Camaro are being discussed is because these Samsung batteries, they're more modular, so you can put them throughout the chassis as opposed to doing like that skateboard design that we're seeing with the GM Ultiums. We are years away from this stuff. Who knows what's going to happen there? This battery stuff's always changing. What they're talking about and building today might certainly change in 3, 4, 5 years anyway. It's just something to watch. I wouldn't be too worried about at this point, but they're moving forward the EV lifestyle, and it's coming whether we like it or not.
Yeah, $3 billion is a lot of zeros, buddy.
Yes, it is.
All right. Our final rumor was the existence of the Corvette SUV all fake news.
You know, this comes from our friend Manny over at Muscle Cars and Trucks, who's appeared on the podcast before.
Sure.
And he's got some pretty decent sources, especially when it comes to this EV stuff. And he's saying there's no Corvette SUV coming. It's mostly because of the design. They can't get really everybody on board. So Car and Driver had put out this story a couple weeks back saying that Chevy is working on a Corvette SUV. However, it's going to be with an internal combustion engine first, as opposed to being an EV. We went and looked at Chevy's current SUV offerings, and there's 7 of them. So where would you fit this model anyways? And then if you count the 2 Bolt models, there's 9 SUVs on that Chevrolet.com tab that says SUVs.
Wow.
It's going to be interesting to see where it happens. Manny does say they are working on an EV Corvette sedan, which may come in 2025 or 2026. But he says, yeah, the SUV for the Corvette is fake news.
Wow. Well, it's Car and Driver versus Muscle Cars and Trucks.
Right. We'll see what happens. But like I said, you know, Manny's had some good scoops over the years. I'm kind of rooting for him, actually.
Absolutely. You know, Manny knows his stuff. That's why he's on Corvette Today with us, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, let's take our final break. When we come back, it'll be the lighter side of Corvette up next on Corvette Today.
Are you ready for a better insurance policy without the Corvette tax? With Agreed Value Protection, the value of your collector vehicle will never change. Plus, you'll save money. Get a quick quote at ncminsurance.com.
Welcome to the world-famous Auto Direct Corvettes, America's best pre-owned Corvette destination. Family-owned for 70 years and 3 generations, the #1 Mid-Atlantic Regional Dealer of the Year for 15 years in a row. Corvette enthusiasts nationwide all say we have the best Corvettes in the USA, with 125 Corvettes and exotics in stock. We are C8 and C7 Corvette Heaven, and proud to say 50-year Corvette specialists. AutoDirectCorvettes.com, 856-461-1199. You're going to love our Corvettes as much as we do. We guarantee it.
Hey, honey, are you awake?
I am now.
I can't sleep. Since turning 50, I keep dreaming of a red door and a blue door, somehow knowing there are only choices for retirement.
Okay.
Through the red door, we outlive our money. We have to rely on our kids. We're stuck on a fixed income. It's terrifying.
Yeah, that would suck.
But through the blue door, our money outlives us. We retire on our terms. Our kids stay our kids, not our caretakers. We make work optional.
Yes, that's much better. That's what I want too. But what do we do?
We call True Wealth & Company at 913-653-8783. They specialize in helping successful people make work optional. They're our fiduciary Blue Door personal wealth managers.
Hey, where are you going? It's 3 a.m.
I can't sleep. I'm going to check out True Wealth & Company online at retirewithtrue.com. That Blue Door is going to be our retirement.
913-653-8783. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Investment advice offered through True Wealth & Company, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas.
VetteFinders.com is the Internet's original Corvette classified ads website, with classified ads starting at just $25. And every ad runs until your Corvette is sold. If you're in the market for a Corvette, VetteFinders.com has over 500 Corvettes for sale from all around the USA and Canada and covering all 8 generations. Visit VetteFinders.com, the Internet's destination for buying and selling Corvettes. That's VETTE Finders.com.
And now back to the only current podcast on Corvettes, Corvette Today, with your host, Steve Garrett.
Hey, thanks once again for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Wheelcraft. Spring is here, and you want your Corvette looking its best. Dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. So visit wheelcraft.com today or call them at 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. Don't forget, if you want a deeper dive into any of the stories we cover, you can always go to CorvetteBlogger.com. In our final segment, we always talk about the lighter side of Corvette. Keith, I had to laugh at this first story. We saw a C8 Z06 get delivered with a Stingray badge on the back, not the traditional cross flags. Oops.
Yep. Oops. We did it again. So if you think about it, though, since February of 2020, when production started of the C8 Stingray, there's been over 100,000 of them built. And it was only last fall that the Z06 was added to the mix. So with that many cars being produced, sometimes these things kind of do happen in the assembly process. Obviously, they're found and corrected during the quality reviews that happen before the cars are shipped out. But occasionally, sometimes these do make it out of the plant. There was that one story we ran back in 2020 about a car was delivered with a 2-tone boomerang, had the body color on one segment and then the carbon flash on another segment.
Right.
We never really saw pictures of this, but we heard some guy got a competition seat in our GT2 seat, maybe.
Oh, wow.
And then our friend Al Fuller, he had a convertible with the body colors. His top vent on his convertible came with a carbon flash, which wasn't supposed to happen. But again, these factory defects are interesting. And so it kind of makes you wonder. What was kind of interesting about this was this new Z06 owner, of course, he has a YouTube channel, so he was documenting his delivery. That he picked up the car at a Texas dealership, but nobody notices the incorrect badge. They missed it at the plant, they missed it at the dealership, and the new owner didn't notice it either. So there was no actual reaction to seeing an incorrect badge on there. We set the tone that the real dilemma for this owner is, do you take it off for the factory correct look, or do you keep it on and show off the factory mistake and have a fun story to tell about it? I don't know what I would do, Steve. What would you do?
I would probably leave it on just for the conversation piece.
Yeah, obviously you'll have people going up and saying, why do you got a Stingray badge on your Z06? You say, hey, it came from the factory that way.
Maybe put both on, buddy.
Yeah, okay. Right. One in front of the other, or you could angle that Stingray tail so it then points to the V and the cross flags.
Yeah, I would put the cross flags underneath the Stingray logo.
I don't know about that.
Well, that's just me, but you know me. I like carbon fiber too.
Yeah, so we've been told. And Soul Performance Exhaust.
And Soul Performance Exhaust, that's for sure. Also, we had a great thing. Chevy MYWAY had a Corvette expert session that featured the Ron Fellows Corvette Performance Driving School at Spring Mountain.
Yeah, so when you buy a new Corvette Stingray or Z06, Chevrolet will give you a voucher to attend the 2-day Ron Fellows Performance Driving School, Corvette Owners School, and it's just $1,000. So you think about all the stuff that goes in. You're driving their cars. You're learning all kinds of vehicle handling on their skid pad, and then you're out on the track and lead follow events. It's one of the best things that you can do in a Corvette. This video by Chevrolet goes over all that program, and anybody who's attended it says it's just a fantastic experience. Z06 class is going to start soon. We'll have those dates here coming up shortly. But if you've already picked up your Z06, and 2,000 of you have, you should be calling the Ron Fellows Performance Driving School right now. You'll need your VIN, and go ahead and let them know that you are interested in taking their class, and they'll show you what they've got as far as availability goes. Good thing to happen. You know, most of us have been through the course over the last few years. A lot of Stingray owners have done it. You can imagine the new Z06, how much fun that's going to be.
Yeah, and when we saw Todd and Bailey at the National Corvette Museum's Bash, they said that they were now booking for August. So make sure you get in there really quick, because we're at the beginning of May and they're already booking for August. So you've got quite a gap there from when you call as to when you get actually into the school itself.
Right, and you have actually a year from the date you take delivery to use that $1,000 voucher. So don't let it go to waste, because it's just a lot of fun. Plus, everything you learn out there about driving translates just to driving on the streets and your normal everyday driving. You pick up some really good skills. It's a lot of fun.
It's Top Gun for a Corvette. Go out and do the school. Absolutely.
There you go.
Savage Geese also explored the limits of the Z06 and they raced it against the GT3 from Porsche.
Yeah, Savage Geese, they really put out some great content, and there's no hyperbole or any kind of exaggerations or clickbait. It's really a long-form video that really goes in depth to whatever they're talking about. Here they go through comparisons and contrasts of the Z06 and the GT3, not really pitting them against each other, just saying here's what one has, here's what the other one has. So they go through the design of the interior and the exteriors. They talk about mechanical impressions, what the equipment is on the car, and then they do some driving with the car and show kind of what each offers. What I liked about the video is then they put a professional driver in for lap times of both cars, and then a final analysis is offered at the end. Of course, one of the guys from Savage Geese, Jack, he is now a Z06 owner, and so he might have a little bit of bias, I get, but that's to be expected. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a great video. Go check it out, Savage Geese on YouTube.
And we had a little bit of drama, Keith. The NCCC originally banned the E-Ray from any competitive events, and then they reversed it, and the Corvette team was emphatic about it at the Bash.
Yeah, this is our second oops story of the show. The Corvette Forum was the first to highlight a change to the NCCC's 2022-2023 competition handbook. They found it back in November. It was changed, but it was before the E-Ray was announced. This rule change banned all EVs and hybrids containing lithium-type batteries from competitive events over fears of safety. And the rule also stated, this is insult to injury, that even if you show up at an event just as a participant or as a spectator, they must be parked 30 feet minimum from structures and other vehicles, which again, it's really ridiculous. So prior to the reversal, we were talking about it with Corvette product manager Harlan Charles, who said they discussed it with the NCCC and that it was all a misunderstanding. He said the rule change was passed before the E-Ray was revealed. Chevy engineers maintain that the battery packs in the E-Ray are very safe for competitive events. Harlan points out that these same types of performance hybrids are currently racing in the top classes at IMSA and Le Mans anyways. We actually heard directly from Deb Howard, the NCCC president. She sent out a statement to us saying that they had adjusted the rules to allow for the inclusion of hybrid vehicles in NCCC events. The rule was originally intended only to apply to electric vehicles, and that they say that the Corvette E-Ray will be allowed to compete. After all, it is the quickest Corvette in the C8 lineup.
That's right. And by the way, if you don't know what NCCC is, it's the National Council of Corvette Clubs. Our final story, Keith, this was awesome. I was glad to see this. It got a big round of applause at the Bash. The Corvette is named the coolest thing made in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, so this was a bracket competition put on by the Kentucky Association of Manufacturers. And so they asked people to vote for the coolest thing made in Kentucky. And the Corvette made its way up to the finals, where it faced off against the Smucker Company's Creamy Jif peanut butter. You know, as much as we love a good PB&J sandwich, peanut butter just quite isn't as cool as a Corvette. So America's favorite sports car won that competition. Over 20,000 votes were cast. The Chevrolet Corvette reigned supreme in the state of Kentucky.
That's awesome. Well, buddy, thanks for being back on Corvette Today. It was fantastic, as always, hanging out with you at the Bash. We will see you in 2 weeks, my friend.
Boy, we had a great time together. Of course, all of our friends were out there. They always say when you go to the Bash, the first time you're out there for the car, the second and third times, you're always out there for the people, because it's just so much fun. You see all these old friends, and I don't know who said it, but all my friends are Corvette owners, you know?
Absolutely.
Everything's kind of worked out in life, but it's a great event, great fun, and good to see you, Steve.
Absolutely. It was great to see you too, buddy. And you know, you're right. If you're a car person, some of your closest friends are car people, and that's what we've done with Corvette.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today, and please be sure to tell your family, friends, and other Corvette enthusiasts about the Corvette Today podcast. And thanks to our sponsors, Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com to learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-840-5334. Soul Performance Products at soulpp.com, the official exhaust of Corvette Today. True Wealth & Company at retirewithtrue.com. Also, Aerolarri Wheels. Get $100 off your purchase with the new promo code CT111 at aerolarri.com. And Hendrick Chevrolet in Kansas City at chevyusa.com.
You've been listening to Corvette Today with Steve Garrett. If you'd like to contact Steve with any thoughts on the podcast or ideas for guests on Corvette Today, you can email him at stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. That's stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Garrett has 2 R's and 2 T's. Or connect with Steve on social media on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using @SteveGarrettDJ. Thanks again for listening to Corvette Today.